Well, you've seen all the product and you've heard from the pros, let's take this technique to the water. Oh, got him. There he is. He came right out and ate the jerk. Not a giant fish, but he came over and you can see them. They follow that jerkbait and they'll follow it up and follow it up and follow it up, and then all of a sudden they'll commit to it. And if you do that right trigger, they'll actually commit to that bait. There he is. Let's get him untangled here without hooking myself. This fish has been caught before. You can see it on the side of his mouth. So the nice part is when you're running jerkbaits, they got lots of hooks. But one of the trick things you got to do when you're dealing with jerkbaits, you got to have the right rod. And by right rod, now it's a downward motion you use when you're working a jerkbait. Now we're going to get this guy back in the water here. Let's put him back in. Let him swim away like a bullet. When you're working a jerkbait, the downward stroke or your cadence, you need a short rod. And I'm running a 6'3" rod. It's a medium power rod, but it's got that extra fast tip on it. And with that, I've got 15-pound braided line. And I'm running a 14-pound fluorocarbon leader. And people say, well, it's kind of heavy. The reason I run the heavier fluorocarbon leader, jerkbaits, when you're ripping them, will dart forward and pass your line. By using a heavier fluorocarbon leader, it's stiff enough that it'll actually push the line with the bait, so you never get your hooks tangled up on your line. Long casts are a necessity in clear water. We're fishing gin clear water in 5 feet of water on a flat, and you want to bomb that bait as far out as you can and tease that fish in. And if you see him, always have a follow-up bait ready, just in case he doesn't commit to the jerkbait. Now let's get some more. Now when you're working jerkbaits, your cadence is probably one of the most important things that you're going to deal with. And by cadence, I mean the repetitive motion in which you work the jerkbait. You know, some guys are a straight, steady, pull down, pull down, pull down, pull down. And some days the fish want that. Other days, they want it really hard and heavy to the side. And it could be something as similar as 1, 2, pause, 1. 1, 2, pause, 1. And it's something you got to test as you're going along. Keep changing your cadence as you fish and let the fish tell you what they want in that day. And that's going to get you more fish in the end. Oh, fish, fish, fish. Fish, fish, fish. Don't move. Got him. Got him. He followed it right in. There you go. See, another example of why you got to really, a pair of polarized glasses when you're doing something like this and you're working clear water, it's paramount because these fish will follow in, and if you don't see them, you'll just reel up your bait and it'll be done. Oh, he's going crazy. Come here. Got him. Look at that, jerkbait fell right out, right in the net. You know, sight fishing in clear water is super important to have a good pair of polarized glasses. And the reason being is because I'm watching this bait come in and I'm looking for the fish. When I see that fish come up, I can stop and give it a quick snap jerk and see how his interest is. He was interested enough to come back a couple of times at it. On the 3rd time, he ate it. Let's get this guy back in the water. And when you're picking your jerkbait, there's one thing that you really want to have with your jerkbait, and that is a casting system. The bait I'm using, it's a Megabass Vision 110, and what it has is a tungsten ball bearing. But a lot of the new baits, what they're doing is they're making a chamber. So when you cast, that ball bearing slams to the tail and takes that bait out tail first. Gives you at least 50% better casting distance. And in clear water, that's the trick to getting more fish in the boat. Fish. Oh, that feels good. Oh, he came up and just smoked that thing. He's running around like crazy. Oh, stay down, baby. Stay down. Just keeping the rod tip down, and it looks like I'm sword fighting a bit, but what I'm doing is I'm just trying to guide him. I really don't want him to tear away too easily. Good fish. So I'm gonna back my drag off and I'm just gonna baby this thing and see that power run. They do that every so often, so you really want to be aware. Let's get the net ready. Look at that. The power is unbelievable in smallmouth. And remember, you're at a bit of a disadvantage because you're using a shorter rod when you use jerkbaits. Like I'm using a 6'3" rod. So you don't have that leverage and that absorption. I have it with the medium power, but I don't have it because I'm losing some length here. But to work these baits effectively, you really need that shorter rod. Come on. Pound for pound, if I had to pick a bass, it have to be a smallmouth, just because they can pull and pull. Now, you gotta be real careful with a jerkbait. If you're gonna get them in a net, you wanna make sure you get them right the first time, because if you catch your handles or something, there he is. Oh yeah, woo! Look at that mule. Just smoked the jerkbait. Talk about stapled. Look at that. He's got just about every hook you can get inside this fish. I got him with. One thing you always want to remember when you got jerkbaits, I've seen way too many of my buddies stabbed with them, and I've been stabbed with them, when a fish shakes out of your hand. So get a good lock on him. Now look at that. How is that for a jerkbait fish? That is unbelievable. He just smoked that thing. I got 2 jerks on it. He came up and just pounded it. Unbelievable. Right on. This is what jerkbait fishing is all about. You know, we've been battling small fish all day. All day, small fish, 2 pounders, 2.5 pounders. End of the day, this is what our reward is. A nice big smallmouth. Let me get this guy back in. There he goes. You gotta love it. You know, jerkbait fishing, I'll say 9 days out of 10, you can catch fish on them. You're not always gonna get giants, but every so often you have that magic day when the big ones wanna eat the jerk. If you commit to throwing a jerkbait every day, I promise you, you'll have fish on your line just about every time.